Hey guys, I hope you're doing alright. Today's episode is a bit of a calm one. It's about starting over. It's about not having too much stress on yourself and how planning can diminish so much stress. And I feel this episode I show a different side, which I think will help a lot of people. And there's quite some more important decisions in this podcast that I'm doing. So anyway guys, I hope you enjoy it and please share, like, subscribe, all these things and comment and take care guys, and I hope you enjoy today's episode. So the big question is this: how can dyslexics like us create a place, a community, a tribe where people at any stage of life can come and solve any challenge, amplify their strengths, and ultimately help them become who they were meant to be, or in other words, conquer their dyslexia? That is the question, and this show is the answer. My name's Theo Goff, and welcome to the Conquering Dyslexia podcast. Hello guys, I hope you're doing good, and today I want to talk to have a conversation with you and see where it goes about starting over, not just doing the same thing over and over again, starting over in terms of, yes, you're not creating a whole new leaf, or you're not starting a whole new journey. You're just refreshing what you already know and say, okay, how can I improve this? How can I start over again and maybe make it better, maybe change it a bit more? And that's really what I want to do with this podcast, because I'm doing it right now. I'm doing these things. I've just done a little 5-minute meditation for focus, and I feel I've been doing these because I said to myself, okay, I really want to focus, and I feel, because I just came back from work, 7-8 hours there, come back for work and doing all of my dyslexic stuff. It's okay, but I need to reset myself, and I had this 2-minute breathing exercise to reset myself. But because it's Friday and I haven't got a lot of work, I'm not going to work tomorrow. Okay, I've got the project I'm working, because in about 2 weeks, 2 weeks exactly today, I will be doing Conquering Dyslexia Live. And that's going to be 20 hours of me just talking and riffing, and it's about how can you conquer your dyslexia? And I'm so passionate about that. I'm so excited about that. But guess what? I'm also a little bit stressed. Not stressed in terms of the negative stress, oh no, I'm stressed about this, but the stress saying, I have to finish my presentations, but come on, let's pull me, let's kind of push me further to do this thing. It motivates me to do it, because I know it's a deadline, because I know that's something how I work. And I would highly I recommend it to everyone. Do it before you're ready. I used to go Toastmasters for about 2 years. And it's in Toastmasters, don't know of it. It's a place that you can go to improve your speaking. And you go to Toastmasters, there are 20, 30 odd people there. And you can be a guest there, show up complete for free and see what's going on. Or you can show, this is globally, by the way. You can show up, actually be a member, but it's really cheap. When I went to £100-something a year. You go to it, and each week, some of them monthly, some of them weekly. This one was weekly, amazing in London Bridge. But basically, you would go up there and you can have different roles. But you can give a speech, or you can do impromptu. But anyway, the whole point of it, you go up there and you speak in front of an audience, and that's the whole thing. And I remember doing it. I remember after a couple weeks, I was so nervous. I was so nervous. I had to do it. I was so nervous, and I pushed myself to do it. It was a big thing, and I worked really hard at it. And then after a year, I felt really comfortable with it, and I was giving other people advice. Okay, they're really nervous. They asked me, okay, can you give me advice what to do this or what to do this? Just do it before you're ready. Sign up, because the first speech is called Breaking Ice. I think it's called Breaking Ice. I don't think it's called Breaking Ice actually. But it's breaking something. But anyway, I would say people, I'm not ready for it. I said, that doesn't matter. Just do it. Do it before you're ready. Because then guess what? You're going to make yourself ready. If you sign on to do that thing in a month from now, you'll be focusing on it and you'll get it ready in a month from now. And here's the point of doing it. And yes, it may not be the best speech in the world, but it doesn't matter. A year from now, you'll be better because you pushed yourself at the start compared to if you didn't push yourself at the start. Because if you don't push yourself in a healthy way, in a way that empowers you, in a way that positively affects your life in the long term, then you'll be slower. You know what I mean? If you only wait for you to be ready at things, you'll never be ready to do stuff. If I was 100% ready, had all my slides done before I started telling people I was going to do it and promoting it, I would probably never do it. I'm writing a second book. If I waited till I was ready to do it, I would never do it. I'd never finish my first book if I was ready. You mean ready to do it? You mean I'd never fully finish it? And so this whole process of taking action and committing yourself before you're ready is so critical, I believe, in my life. And also, I want to talk about something else that I'm doing with this podcast now. So I'm changing it up slightly and changing up in a so much better way, because I really want this podcast to be something really cool and something really big. And I remember I had Darius, who's got the White Side of the Brain podcast, Truth About Dyslexia. I made a mistake in the summit. Truth About Dyslexia podcast. And in this podcast, it's one of the top ranked in the top 3 dyslexic podcasts in the world, adult dyslexia podcasts, with over a lot of downloads on the shares numbers, but over a lot in the hundreds of thousands. I want that. And the podcast, it's slowly growing. This podcast you listen to now, it's very slowly growing, but this is what you've got to do. You've got to do it, and it's slow and steady. But the number one thing is consistency. Doing it consistent all the time. And it's like with anything in life, isn't it? I think number one thing is consistency. Like Toastmasters, getting good at speaking, consistency, confidence, consistently, improving these skills consistently. Getting better at dyslexia, conquering dyslexia? It's a consistent process. This is what I teach. Look, you don't conquer dyslexia once, you conquered it for life. It's a consistent process of discovery, of learning new skills. Because you may go through go through the conquering dyslexia life and feel amazing. And yes, it will make big impacts in your life. But unless you carry on growing, 6 months from now, you might get back to where you were before the conquering dyslexia life, because you haven't done the things necessary to move you forward. And that's why I'm saying consistent. And I've heard it so many times, but I know he's so right. And if I really want this thing to grow, I have to be consistent. And that's why I will do these podcasts daily. I will make this a must in my life. This is the most important thing. And it's going to be 10 to 15 minutes or longer, but at least probably around 10 minutes at least. And it won't be me planning it so perfectly that I'll speak perfectly. I probably will talk really fast and get through things and for it to be a chore. Because this thing's not going to be a chore. If it's a chore, you won't enjoy it as much, because you won't feel like you're having a conversation with me, and I won't nearly enjoy it as much because I feel like it's work. It's work for me, and it's not. And I really am excited about this. So what I really want to do is, I'm obviously doing this podcast now, but I'm going to post this tomorrow. So if you listen to this on the podcast, stations, did this the day before, and I'm always have one in reserve, because I sort of believe, if I have one in reserve, if a backup one, like a backup podcast episode, for example, always have one scheduled a day, always do it 24 hours before I'm going to release it, then I always have, something happens, something crazy happens, that I couldn't do a podcast. Okay, I'll just do 2 the next day. And that's how it works. I feel that's a really good way of getting insurance in it. And guys, so I really wanted to say that, and I think it would be really valuable for us listening in this. Now, if you've been watching me for a while, I know there's a handful of you are. I want to ask you, what do you think about what it means to conquer dyslexia? You know what I mean? You've heard me say it over and over and over again, saying, "Oh, what's this bloke? Theo means when he says about conquering dyslexia? Does he mean that? Oh, I've got to." I've got to learn these skills. Does it mean, that the school system changed? What does it mean to you? Because what it means to me, and I can do a definition of it or whatever, but it's not what I think about it, it's what you think. It's what you think about it. And ultimately, it's customer driven. It's what you think about it that counts. What you think about it that makes you move forward. It makes you actually use what you think. And I want you to answer yourself now, thinking, what does it mean to you? What could it mean to you if you wanted it to mean something? For example, I want conquering dyslexia to mean to me that I can handle anything. Conquering dyslexia, me to be a dyslexic conqueror, I want that to mean that no challenge that can be too hard, too big. I want it to mean that I can be confident if I want to be. If I work hard enough, I can be confident. I can overcome these challenges. Because guess what? You can. You can overcome these challenges that you face. And don't get me wrong, I'm even having all these challenges all the time, and I'm learning and I'm growing. You know what I mean? Like, but I think one of the biggest things I've learned recently in my own journey, we're going through all going through our own journey. I feel if I share mine, one, it'll be good reflection, like he was saying. Darius was saying that look, when you do it, it's kind of like it's healthy. You know what I mean it's mentally healthy because you're spilling your guts out in a way, and as what I want to be doing, but also it's valuable. So some things that I learned, because I remember I used to live by myself, live with my mum at the moment, but used to live by myself, and I was so focused on dyslexia stuff, and I decided to quit my personal training job during that time, because I was working in school writing a book. I got too much, so I decided to quit that and only focus on my dyslexic stuff, and because I felt I had so much pressure on me and not enough external obligation to be in a certain place at a certain time, that I collapsed, you know what I mean? And I beat myself up so much. I'm getting these races where I just couldn't control things. And I really realised I was in a place that I scared myself so much. And now when I don't do things, when I don't take action, when I wanted to take action, I know the worst thing I can do is beat myself up. Before I think that's the best thing I could do. Now I think that's the worst thing I can do. So if I beat myself up, it'll be long for me to bounce back and hit it. I mean, when you do the wrong things, don't beat yourself up. Just how can you bounce back the fastest possible way? I mean, in a realistic way. Another thing is about rest and about sleep. I realise that I can't go on, 6-7 hours sleep and just grinding all the hours I was awake, 6.5 days a week. I can't do that. Because I've tried and I tried and I tried and tried. Maybe 1 week I've done it, maybe another week I've done it. But 9 times out of 10, I don't do it, and I end up sleeping. This is Friday. Thursday I normally get knackered and I sleep at 7 p.m. And then Friday, I haven't done it, I need to work loads and probably I sleep then and I ruin the weekend. Because I'm not set up. Because I feel if I don't plan it in advance, it's also something I'm so obsessed with. Planning. If I don't plan it in advance, it won't happen. It won't happen. And if I don't really schedule so specifically the weekend and know what I want to do and I'm excited about it, it won't happen. And if my routine's out of whack, if I don't do my morning ritual, it's not going to happen. And I realised, okay, I need a rest in the middle of the week. So I thought, okay, Thursday is my rest day. Monday to Wednesday work really hard. And then Thursday, I know I'll be fatigued. That's what I did yesterday. Yesterday was Thursday. And I came home, I wasn't massively fatigued. But I was I'm quite tired. And I went to sleep at 7:30. And now I woke up, I'm really ready to smash it now. And I'm happy for the weekend to smash it in because I'm not pushing myself. And that's something I've learned with myself. And a lot of people say that's a dyslexic trait. I don't know if it is. I like to think that I want to be this. I looked up to Tony Robbins, and he's a crazy person. He can sleep 2 hours a night. He can do crazy things, because I think a lot of it's down to his DNA. If he sleeps, there's a small percentage of people that can function perfectly well on 4 hours of sleep. I am not one of those people. I've tried. I'm not one of those people, and I can't be. I can't be a person that I really want to be. And some of you think, oh, I can't write a book. That's all right. Be the best version of yourself. And I really want to end this little conversation with one last thing. The lack of us the lack of us solving our challenges and the lack of us being equipped to deal with our challenges is in direct proportion to the lack we study, the lack we plan, the lack we set time aside to plan what's going to happen for the week, for the day, for the month, for the year. Another way of saying it is goal setting. Goal setting is just simply saying, what do you want? That's all goal setting is. Everyone sets goals. Some goals are poor, some goals are not. Difference is, what impact they have in your life? How much do they pull you? How much do they motivate you? What's your reason for doing them? The reasons are strong, you go and do it. And listen, a lot of times I'll struggle. I would have so much stress you could not believe if I was not good at planning. The reason why I have so little stress is because I can plan. I'm planning, getting better at planning each day and all this sort of stuff. I think planning is such a skill that's so hard for dyslexics to do, but do it. And the biggest advice is obsess on it early on. Obsess on it early on. Because when you obsess on it, you spend a lot of time on it, and it get easier and easier and easier, and it will be normal. And then eventually you would feel weird if you didn't plan, because you feel out of sorts. Because you know when you do plan, it's clear. You don't have to focus on something and doing it. And I'll do another podcast probably tomorrow or something about planning. And it's so critical. Anyway, guys, I hope we're good. Hope we're right. And please, share, comment, subscribe, and do all these things to grow this podcast out. And these are going to be daily ones, I promise that. Take care, guys, and bye.